Hey everyone, it's Movie Lover 120 here, and I'm here with yet another flashback review, and that review is for none other than Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. Well, Birds of Prey, technically. It was the second movie I was able to see in theaters before the pandemic happened, and now, when I saw the trailers for Birds of Prey, I was also a little bit skeptical about it because, one, I did not like Suicide Squad. In fact, yeah, I did really found Suicide Squad a very bad film, and yeah, it was pretty much yeah. So yeah, I was having some iffy thoughts on Birds of Prey. Plus, the trailers weren't really that good for it, and I was a little nervous for the film. But I did like Harley Quinn stuff, and now we were getting an R-rated DCU movie, so and that was which I actually couldn't really hope they would be able to nail, since most of their DCU films were all PG-13, and this was their very first R-rated entry, an attempt at being a little more adult, which, now I like Marvel, but I like that DC actually tried to be a little adult this time, and go for a different rating, and not be family-friendly all the time. But, anyway, so around February 12th, wait, not 12th, 11th, February 11th, that night, I went to finally go see Birds of Prey, and it was actually pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't as terrible as I thought it would be. Now, was it better than Suicide Squad? Yeah, it was so much better than watching Suicide Squad. I would give Suicide Squad a 5 out of 10, because, well, that movie really sucks, but the only reason I didn't give it a 4 out of 10 is because Harley Quinn's the only saving grace of the movie. But anyway, this was a much better way, definitely a good way to make up for that terrible film, and man, but anyway, what's this movie about? Well, basically, Harley Quinn has broken up with the Joker, and now basically, eventually she ends up coming to this path of this narcissistic crime boss, well known as Black Mask, played by Ewan McGregor, and his right-hand man, Victor Zizak, and every other thug in the city. But eventually, she ends up after this whole fiasco with this kid and a diamond, that she ends up having to basically protect and get the diamond out of her, which is a pretty funny way how she like offers to get the diamond out of her is very hilarious. Like, first she offers these laxatives or get cut open, and of course the kid picks the laxatives, which is a very funny scene. And she ends up getting also a few unexpected allies with like Huntress, Black Canary, and Renny Montoya. Man, and I just absolutely thought it was a very fun flick, very funny. They're definitely very dark, times two. Actually pretty dark for a comedy film, and it's pretty much a spin-off that improved on the Suicide Squad in so many ways. Thankfully leaves out Joker, only focusing on Harley Quinn, and teaming up with these three allies. Margot Robbie still gives a very good performance as Harley Quinn. And of course, Ewan McGregor phenomenally nailed the role of Black Mask. He always pretty much nails everything. Like, he nailed the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he nailed the role of Danny in Doctor Sleep, so it's good. I actually love how he portrayed Black Mask. It was very, very phenomenally portrayed him like it was in the comics. Black Mask always was this dark sense of humor, and I love how they perfectly portrayed it in this. Director Kathy Ann actually gave a very good direction, and just made both the exaggeration work in the end. Loaded with very fast-paced action, snap and surprise, hand-to-hand battles reminiscent of martial arts, and some very epic action scenes, and very epic gory deaths too. Comedy is well played out and hilarious, and it doesn't take itself seriously. It's kind of like a female version of Deadpool, except a better thing about it, they don't go woke. They don't add in SJW propagandas. No, they actually leave out any of that. And I'm glad they didn't do. I'm glad they just try to do their own way and not fill in that stuff like Star Wars. But I'm not here to complain about Star Wars stuff. I'm just here to do my movie review. The characters like Harley Quinn and Huntress were very likable and much more badass than most previous heroines in previous films. Unlike other DCU films that often relied on explosive CGI over a story, is focused on characters and story altogether. And very great lines such as Harley Quinn's "I got a PhD," Emmer effer, yeah. I censor that, guys, because I'm aware that some kids probably do watch my videos, and I just want to make this a little more tamer and not try to swear as much, guys. But now, of course, there are kind of a few bad qualities I have with the film, and there wasn't much depth in the story. And while it's called Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn just gets most of the film's focus, and the other Birds of Prey barely get much screen time other than Harley Quinn and the kid she's being paired with, and of Cassandra and Cassandra Cain is a member of the League of Assassins and holder of the Batgirl moniker to a pickpocket. Yeah, which I do not like. Oh yeah, and of course, even though Black Mask is perfectly portrayed, I did not like how they killed him off. Basically, how he gets killed off is... Sorry, guys, I keep calling her the kid because I forget her name. It's been a while since I've watched the film, but... Basically, the kid puts a grenade in his, butt, and then, of course, he realizes it. It quickly connects, and Harley Quinn just basically kicks him off a bridge, and then he just explodes in the ocean. And I was like, oh, come on! He deserved a better death than that. He was way too easy to take down. I did not like how they just decided to just abruptly kill him off around the climax and just basically kill him off after the whole hostage scenario we see in every film. And yeah, I did not like that. Well, Harley Quinn could have at least fought him or something, and then the whole grenade thing could have happened, but oh well, it is what it is. And yeah, and I kind of didn't like, now, while I did like how it was similar to Deadpool, I didn't like how they tried to too much copy Deadpool in kind of a way, but then again, this was a spin-off about Harley Quinn, who is the comic relief in Suicide Squad. This was just meant to be her movie, so I can forgive that flaw too, but oh no, I don't care much about the flaws. I just think it's a fun flick, and sure, it's not DCU's best film. It's still caught quite a few problems, but it's definitely so much better than Suicide Squad. It's something I'd rather watch over that, and I'd rather watch it over that pitiful Joss Whedon cut Justice League, and thankfully, that cut can be forgotten about because we are finally getting the Zack Snyder cut next year, the one we should have really had. But yeah, so how would I rank this movie? I would rank it a 7.5 out of 10. It's not great, but it's definitely a pretty decent flick, too. And it's definitely a good makeup for Suicide Squad and Justice League, so yeah. Like, the DCU finally now knows what they're doing, and is now trying to make actually some active films, and not just trying to copy Marvel all the time. But I have no offense to the older films, but I still think it's they're pretty fun films, and they're still fine for what they are. I mean, when you watch the director's cuts of some of them, like, the director's cut of Batman vs Superman is actually pretty good. Much better than the PG-13 version, and the director's cut of Suicide Squad, I guess, is somewhat better, but